Despite concerns over attacks like that, NFTs have proved an unstoppable juggernaut this year, with last week's Super Bowl featuring everything from commemorative NFT tickets to brewing giant Anheuser-Busch, including its Noun Glasses NFTs in its Bud Light ad slots. But just what is this asset class? Is it a utility or a legal right? And who better to ask about the way the world is being tokenized than Henry Chong, CEO of Fusang. Fusang aims to reshape investment markets with blockchain technology, and it is great to have you with us again, Henry.
Great to be here, Angie.
So, Henry, guide us through here. In particular, what do NFT creators, buyers and sellers, need to know about their rights? I mean, everybody's buzzing about NFTs right now.
Just like the crypto markets are exploding increasingly onto public consciousness, I think they made up something like half of the Super Bowl ads. NFTs likewise have just skyrocketed in scale and popularity, not least of which is because, at least for now, you don't really need to have identity or go through things like KYC and AML to buy an NFT. And so predictably, the NFT markets have exploded. But what I think NFT investors need to understand is, as I've always said, drilling one layer below the technology and saying, well, what exactly does this token represent? What kind of token is it? Is it an art token representing a piece of digital art? Is it something that gives me legal or contractual rights, a copyright or utility? What exactly am I getting as an investor into this token?
Indeed, the biggest selling collection of all-time CryptoPunks is currently at the center of a legal dispute over copyright. Could this be a concern for a lot of people, and could it be a precursor to tighter regulations and standards?
I think all NFTs really need to start looking at doing one of two things. Either they need to provide legal or contractual rights to an underlying asset, even if that asset is purely digital, or number two, as you mentioned, they need to start providing utility benefits, or ideally both. And I think that's where we're seeing a lot of excitement in the NFT world today. The idea of being able to use them to really empower communities and really draw together communities potentially around a creator or an artist, but also really just around communities of all kinds. There's a lot of press recently about Coachella selling lifetime access passes as NFTs. I think that's a great example of the real promise of NFT. Not just having a little JPEG that I've encapsulated, but actually saying, hey, why not, right? Coachella's a huge and established fair, obviously, but maybe I want to start a new music festival and I need funding. And I look at selling these lifetime passes as a way of getting off the ground. And if you're an early investor into these passes, I'm obviously taking a bet, a risk, whether or not your music festival is going to come off and be successful. But hey, if I'm willing to be an early adopter, I get that benefit of maybe getting a cheap lifetime pass. Again, to me, this is really the promise of NFT 2.0, right? Having real substance behind these tokens.
And finally, I gotta ask you this, Henry. Is the massive popularity of NFTs proving somewhat of a coming of age for digital assets? And where might that evolution go next?
To me, the fact that there's such overwhelming interest around not just the idea of NFTs and digital blockchain-based assets, but also the way in which people are using them to build these communities, as I said, but also how people are using them to fundraise, to say, I've got ideas and projects and communities I want to get off the ground, and I'm starting to use them to fundraise, just speaks to the massive pent-up demand there is for these alternate fundraising mechanisms. It speaks to the fact that it is not so simple to raise funds in today's world as you might think. It's a very traditional and closed environment, and I think using NFTs is going to be a great way to start at looking at disrupting that.
Tokenizing the world one step at a time. Henry Chong of Fusang, thanks so much for joining us today.